Parliament of Uganda. Well, definitely looking at this, they're looking at ways of monetizing the economy, several sectors, looking at agriculture, amongst other things. Now, if you remember well, this budget, initially we were standing at a 48 trillion. But yes, of course, you know, the monies can never be enough because we have a lot that requires the money. So how this is going to work out for us? Well, that is a question entirely up to Ugandans, but also Ministry of Finance being at the helm of it. Anyway, today being Friday special, we are all here ready and set. And of course, when I say we, Robert and actually Uncle Bob, because Friday is really different. Uncle Bob, I do have Marlon, I do have Felix, all ready to give you quite an entertaining morning. Well, Felix, good morning.
Good morning, Philo.
How are you doing?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm all right. Happy Friday.
Thank you. Happy Friday to you as well.
Thank you.
What's the plan?
To be happy. That's the plan for today. Be happy and survive.
We'll see how that goes. We'll see that.
I am being optimistic, by the way, Felix.
I'm happy for you. And I wish you the best in that journey.
I don't know whether I should believe that or not, but thank you so much.
Uganda being Uganda, the way things are running, my dear.
You create your corner of happiness.
I wish it was that easy. With everything that is massed up around us and what's happening in the country, you realize that the tensions are so high because of the economy. The tensions. Everyone you meet is angry and hungry. I don't know.
Like, you know what they say about a hungry man?
There's no you come with your teeth. So when you say you're going to try to be happy, you may need to do that in your own back door, in your bedroom, because you'll be surprised how people will react to
that.
It's times are hard. That's what I can say.
Absolutely.
And sadly, today as I was getting here, I listened to the radio, and they say, you know, kids are going back to school like next week.
27th, 28th is the weekend.
You knew?
I knew it.
And you didn't tell us. You should remind.
There is no parent who wants to be reminded, by the way. Even as we talk about
it's a reality.
Right now, there is a parent there who probably wants to throw a punch at you.
You know,
so.
that just made me like wave.
Uncle Bob,
so parents should start preparing. I think by end of next week, kids are going to be starting going back to school. If you think the faces are gloomy now, wait till
I've always believed that first-term holidays are just a way of sending children back home to get money, to get fees for second term.
Now I'm starting to believe that.
Yeah,
as well.
It really makes sense. Uncle Bob, are you scared? Are you worried? Are you know, because school fees is around the corner. How are you?
I'm very fine, I must say, and I hope that team everybody is fine. Well, Philo, you must learn to be happy.
That's true.
To be honest, because if you don't learn to find your own corner of joy, there's so much that is happening, and that's why we are seeing incidents that are happening in this country. Yesterday at Mokwasi, around Lumumba Avenue, a security guard, it is believed, though investigations are going on, that he could have committed suicide using his gun. They have arrested 6 people. When you look at this guy who shot the Asian moneylender, when you look at the late Charles Angola and his bodyguard, to mention but a few, but these are all outcomes of frustration. Let's look at the drive of the judiciary. There is so much frustration that is moving around. And yesterday I was watching Parliament. Of course, Honorable Semujunganda is also another. You know, he makes it theater, though he keeps some members of Parliament really excited, and of course with social media, those 2 clips. But there was also something that I didn't understand, where a female MP was trying to do some body massage to one MP in the back, and then another one. It's all interesting. But one thing now I know is our country is learning to live like Ugandans. What do I mean? From 48 trillion to 52.74.
Yes.
You see, a budget is your expected revenue and projected or planned expenditure. Now you people, if you ask 90% of Ugandans how much they earn and what their expenditure is, you believe that our motto is for God and my country. Because many Ugandans live a life that does not match with what they earn,
Yes.
but they find ways to live. Now, if with the 48 trillion, it has been a challenge, you people. We're expecting about 25 trillion from Ugandans. Here, we are going to maybe about 28 trillion from Ugandans. The situation is very, very bad. Everywhere, money is becoming a challenge. And here we go. We have increased our budget. So we are simply learning to be like Ugandans, where a person will tell you, I earn this, I rent a house of this amount, my children go to these schools. You're like, gentlemen, it seems a month you're spending about 5 billion.
Where are you getting this money from?
Where are you getting this money from?
Tell us, please. Make recommendations so we can also go to the same spot.
With you people, why are you asking about my money now?
I mean, we just want to all
Because
have a
when
good
you-
life.
So you do what?
Your
We
revenue.
all want to have a good
and your
life,
expenditure.
all a fair
Remember
life.
that Sudanese man, what he asked the journalist? Why didn't you ask me when I was poor? Why the source of my
Mole, don't you
poverty?
want to get that money? Good morning, because these gentlemen really want to enjoy the source of the money alone. Do you not want that money?
You never tell your secrets.
I want to have the money and enjoy the money without answering to any questions of where I'm getting the money, how I'm
Just
spending
to-
it. And by the way, there was that whole, we were supposed to declare our assets somewhere, somehow. I don't know where that got,
People declare
honestly.
bicycles that
But-
have
But I'm telling you, when you're living in Uganda, sometimes you need to learn to work with what you have. And usually what you have is not enough. But is there really ever enough money? I'm starting to think that that is not even a thing. But Felix earlier talked about students going back to school. I think also you might need to consider that this very weekend, they're actually candidates. I think most of the schools' candidates are going back this very weekend. And by the way, this hit me so hard. I'm like, okay, I thought they were going on the 28th as well. But then I said, no, candidates 21st, 22nd. I'm like, okay, this is too soon. But remember, you don't want to compromise on their academics because they are close to the end. And now, these are people that take a lot of money. So again, and this is the time money lenders are also looking. But I think now they are scared.
They need to understand
the money
how
lenders
things
now.
work. Yes.
By the time they give you their money, I think you have to probably sign a lot of things.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking, because now everyone is on their guard. You give someone money and
But
if
previously
you don't
they've
pay
been
back,
running it
they'll-
in a very sketchy manner.
Yeah.
So I think there must be a standardized form of how they do this business.
Let me tell you,
Well,
you
hopefully.
people, money lenders are another breed of human beings. They are never scared, and nothing can. Those guys, just imagine a person who can give you a goat and they want a cow in return.
But do you know why that happens, though, Robert? I want to believe that, again, that draws questions in the way they are regulated. Are they taxed by URA? How do they, what is the procedure for them to start getting into this money lending business? Because I believe the moment they do that, or the fact that they can actually do that, they are making use or taking advantage of the loopholes in the system, because you cannot be giving people money. You are lending somebody about 2 million Ugandan shillings, but by the end of 2 months you are expecting 10 million Ugandan shillings. How is what kind of math is that?
The way
Listen,
they
I
do
know I
their
wasn't
thing.
good
They
at
prey
math,
on
but
you-
that
on your
wasn't even really
desperacy
adding
for
Yeah,
up.
they use your
Yes.
desperation.
Yes.
And some of them are very, I won't use the word evil, but very cunning.
Very
they will tell you,
cunning
you
and
want this
wicked.
amount, what is your security you give your car? They tell you, let's make an agreement.
The collateral
That-
security?
Yes,
Oh,
that
wow.
you have sold your car to me. When you bring my money in time, we cancel the agreement. Then on that day when you're supposed to make your final payment, you look for him, you can't find him. They hide themselves. Then they will tell you that date expired, we now take the car. They're very crafty people and sometimes evilish.
It's bad, and you see, sadly though, even if we talk about it right now, there are people who still need their services rendered to them, because you know, the times right now cannot let you breathe. There is a lot that you need to do. You have businesses running, you have children going back to school, you have basic needs that you need to, stay afloat. So there is quite a lot that requires money. I think everything at this point requires money, so you cannot do away with that. Anyway, we have lots and lots of things are happening. We'll be going through some of our local stories and international stories, and of course much later on we do have some entertainment for you. It can't all be bad, really. At least for a minute or two, forget about your problems and just be in the moment. For now, let's look at some of our story briefs.
Well, let's begin with Gulu, where the International Museums Day was celebrated. Uganda joined the rest of the world to celebrate World Museum Day in Gulu. The Vice President, Jessica Alupo, represented His Excellency at the occasion. President Museveni committed government support to forming a structure in northern Uganda to improve the tourism center that are rich on ancient and archaeological information. This was during the 2023 International Museum Day celebration hosted at the Kaunda grounds in Gulu on the theme Museums, Sustainability and Well-being. Vice President, retired Mayor Jessica Alupo represented His Excellency. Though the Uganda National Museum is in Kampala, the most renowned to the people, the government through its legislators is to ensure that there are other museums spread out across the country.
Now, Parliament has passed the budget for financial year 2023-2024, projected as a cost to cost at least about 52.74 trillion shillings. The budget aims at fully monitoring Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, among other interventions. Now, government maintains an optimistic stand that the economy is to grow at a rate of 6% in the next financial year.
And the body of the late Private Wilson Sabiti, who murdered the Minister for Labour, Charles Engola, before turning the gun against himself, will be handed to the family once investigations are concluded. UPDF spokesperson Brigadier General Felix Kulaije appealed to the family of Sabiti to be patient till the Commission of Inquiry, which was set up to investigate the case, concludes investigations.
Now, the stepmother in Bukedia district who is accused of severe attack on the teenager is to appear in courts of law. Helen Among is allegedly beat Scholastica Acham to the point of unconsciousness for stopping her young sister from tearing her books. Now, police in Bukedia district has rearrested a woman who is accused of severely attacking and beating a stepdaughter. Helen Among is said to have accused Scholastica Acham for beating her daughter, who was tearing her books, leading to the violent attack against this young one. The chairman of Kokwech village, Sam Boy, disclosed that Among used a mingling stick to repeatedly assault the young girl while sitting on her body.
Really very, very sad. Crossing over to international stories. More than 20 rivers have burst their banks in Italy, leaving 13 people dead and forcing thousands from their homes after 6 months rainfall fell in a day and a half. More bodies were found on Thursday after almost every river flooded between Bologna and the northeast coast, about 70 miles away. Some 280 landslides have taken place. The mayor of Ravenna, a city badly affected by flooding, told media outlets it was the worst disaster in a century. Michel de Pascal described the damage caused by the floods as catastrophic, costing people in his city and the wider region their homes, possessions, and for some, their lives. It was a very bad 48 hours. Water and mud took over our whole village, said Roberta Lazzarini. Now, Japan is hosting the G7 summit in Hiroshima, the hometown of Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, from May 19th to 21st, welcoming leaders from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The European Union is a non-enumerated member. The event will begin on Friday morning with Kishida welcoming the visiting leaders and officials at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, where they will lay thousands of people when the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the city back in 1945. Discussions are set to start at about lunchtime with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and how to respond to it high on the agenda. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is also expected to address the leaders by video at some point during the weekend.
Now, the head of Kenya's standards regulator and 26 other government officials have been suspended over the release of 1,000 tons of expired sugar into the market. A statement by the head of public service, Felix Koskei, said 20,000 bags of sugar imported into the country in 2018 and condemned by the regulator had been irregularly diverted and unprocedurally released. The Kenyan Bureau of Standards has then declared the sugar as unfit for human consumption and was set for destruction through conversion to industrial ethanol. The conversion was to be undertaken jointly by the regulatory agencies, and they were required to be sourced for the distiller through an open and competitive tendering process and pay all the necessary taxes and fees. Now, China, Russia, climate change, artificial intelligence, and diversity are among the issues on a crowded agenda awaiting the leaders from the Group of Seven, the G7 bloc of wealthy advanced democracies, this weekend. Now, they arrived in rainy Hiroshima on Thursday though the wet conditions did nothing to dampen their resolve to confront a series of pressing issues during the summit. The G7 comprises of Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United States, with the European Union being a non-enumerated member without the right to the rotating presidency. Over their meeting through Sunday, the leaders will try to forge a united front on China and Russia, both uninvited but also the largest elephants in the room. Interesting.
Well, it's Good Morning Uganda Friday special. Clearly this weekend is one that is dominated by quite a number of meetings, but of course as the weekend goes by and also the week starts, we'll be knowing what was discussed, and of course we'll be very glad and happy to share with you. For now, we'll go for a break. When we return, we will still have a lot and lots of discussion with you, and of course entertainment for you, because it's Good Morning Uganda Friday special.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay. If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Gatawo with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is Chilling. Don't miss a brand new season of Chilling on UBC TV.
This is Good Morning Uganda. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidala irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidala mpa irisiti yange.
That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. Still here with you. It's 7 a.m. Today is the 19th of May 2023. My name is Philomena Masco. Of course, with the gentlemen, Uncle Bob and Felix Nkunda. Well, this morning's discussion, we did have a prior highlight of what exactly seems to be happening lately when we look at our society and in our communities. It's no wonder that we have also been seeing some of the most disturbing stories during the course of the week when it comes to, stress levels, when it comes to frustrations, when it comes to, all the challenges that we are facing. Some of them are social, others are political, while others are economical. In fact, in this case, the biggest percentage we would attribute it to being economically based issues. Because at the end of the day, all these households are all trying to find a way of surviving. But we also know that the money is not exactly available. It's not there 100%. So when it comes to the money in these households, how ideally we would love to handle these monies, how we are able to use whatever it is that we actually have to be able to survive. Is that something that is possible? And also maybe can we say, how do we get to regulate our responses to some of these economic frustrations as human beings? I mean, we may not be speaking from an expert point of view, but ideally some of the things we believe could actually help, because among us, the three of us, Robert and Felix, I know we all have financial responsibilities that are awaiting us from different corners. But how do you get to try and balance? It may not exactly be the easiest to get a 50-50 or even 60-40, but what are some of the things that you can actually do that will help you kind of try to adjust accordingly? How do we adjust accordingly, especially when it comes to the economic and financial times that we are in? Now, all of this we are looking at in a perspective of ensuring that we still try to stay normal and sane amidst all of this. So we just want to hear from you. What are some of the pointers that can really help when it comes to money concerns and also management, and how do we regulate this in terms of how we respond to that? So please get onto our social medias, hashtag UBCGMU, that is on Twitter, and let us know, but also use our WhatsApp platform 0709-602-592. You as a Ugandan out there, what are you doing? What are some of the things that you are trying to ensure you incorporate in your lifestyle to ensure that you survive, or you at least try to adjust accordingly to the financial times? What are some of those things you're doing in your family, in your work life? All of that we'd love to know. Starting off with you, Uncle Bob. What's going on?
Well, even the night animal Friday out to go, as these days you go to some place and you look through and some colleagues are not there. Then the other day they'll give you a phone call and you're not there.
Yes.
Then after some time you notice that a group of 10, now one goes there. But on a serious note, when you move around downtown, once in a while, be very observing. Businesses are closing.
That's true.
Businesses are closing. Look at these supermarkets. How many have closed shop and say, Uganda again? Go and ask Hisa Sechito of Kasita. How many of their members are closing? When COVID came, there were 2 years to say, one extension of 3 years. But the impact is still felt because maybe we didn't have the best plan of how we are going to recover. Now I'm starting with national level. So we must know the packages that government put, they didn't serve the purpose that they were intended to do because of sometimes how government wanted to lose money. For example, they put 200 billion in a bank for SMEs, but not even 30% got that money. None of the Kasita, because they will tell you what they wanted, bureaucracy we couldn't afford. So generally there is that problem. Now going back to individual basis, one, you must accept times have changed. You see, there is power in accepting. One Muslim friend of mine told me that in Islam there are two people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to have mercy. One, a person who once had power and no longer has power. And Felix is my good translator here. A person
you want me to put it in Arabic?
in Luganda, a person who once had power and no longer has power. Then second is a person who once had money and no longer has money. The Quran tells us, today being a Friday, that when you meet those people, abantu abo basasiranga. So, if you're in Uganda today, you may still have power, but understand that there is a situation. First accept, because when you accept, you stop living in denial. Then you find ways to cut a coat according to your piece of cloth. If you wear this one, you go 10 times to the saloon, this. If you can, go Philo's style. I don't know if it's more expensive or cheaper. If you wear this one, who drives gas? No, I'm just saying. If you have this person
the bucket is biting.
who used to drive Gazlas, like Felix, now go for
economic friendly cars.
Yeah, and you're right in every aspect of what you're saying. You're right.
If you were this man who would make names, Uncle Bobo Atus, then people know, it's on house or it's on me. Ask and know that times have changed.
Order from home.
Even home. You see, African men, we are very deceitful. We do not want to talk about reality. Sit your family. Tell them that yes, according to what is happening, we may have to make some adjustments so that we can have priorities made. For example, we may not have a huge birthday party if children are going back on the 28th. It is your birthday, but how can we have something small so that we can save? We may not have the meat, chicken, what. Because at the end of the day, when you calculate how much of this are you spending. So personal, family, let the people know that there is a tough time.
Someone at
we
this
are
point
going
would
to-
actually say, is it even necessary to celebrate the so-called birthdays? I did hear a parent actually bring out that argument, like at this point, we have to really cut down all these things. They deemed it very unnecessary.
We can tone. Maybe just have
turn
a
it down a
cake,
bit.
sodas,
Yes.
not the other gift, invite all your schoolmates, classmates. So that is first step. Accept, let people around you know that it is hard time, because when you accept, you're able to devise means of how you're going to fit. Then take priorities, and those are not priorities in your life. You see, a budget is your expected revenue and planned expenditure. But then that will determine what are your priorities of expenditure. Someone told me the difference between all of us, sometimes we all have same time on earth, as in each one of us, the day is 12 and the night is 12. Then the other difference is how much you use, what are your priorities when you're handling money. So this is a time to define your priorities very well. And also, it's not a time to take dates.
But can you do away with that,
Let me
though,
tell you,
Robert?
let me tell you.
Yes.
In Uganda, we have people that take loans, get debts when they are not even sure of what they are doing. I'll give you an example. You're driving, you find these youth holding business cards. We offer quick loans. Last time someone called me and told me, you know, such and such a gentleman, he applied for a loan and put you as surety. I'm like, goodness me. Today, when you open some of the smartphones, you find a quick loan. I don't know if you guys also have that, yeah? Some
of them are even
quick loans,
scammers, yes.
Some are scammers, but some may really be. So, getting a debt now, borrowing right now, one, you should think twice to avoid being like the Wawires here. You know, think twice when you're borrowing. Think twice when you're purchasing certain things at such a point of time. Because even when you think I'm going to get this deal, it may never be because someone is ready to get the money. Second, if you're running any business, watch what extent you're giving out credit.
This is not the time for you to actually be giving
You must
out
be very serious.
commodities on
Giving out
credit.
commodities on credit at such a time if you're running a business. Because people will come to you, but it is not only affecting you. Go around, make a survey, people who run car bonds today. You'll find many of them will tell you, twice, that's this have always, but they all but this is how they've been doing business. You come, you have a 30%, you take the car, you drive. Today, the people who took, and who already have been doing this, the cars are now back because they are not being able to pay. So it's not the time to give credit. Then finally, brothers and sisters, at this time, draw closer to God than never before. Draw closer to God than never before. Because there is power in faith. I've tested this. Prayer, reading the Bible, reading the Quran, there is power in such times of hardships. So you will be reading and you go to Romans 8:28. All things happen to the good of those who love God, those whom he called according to his purpose. Then as more you read, taking your life, you know it is a sin. So you won't kill yourself. Draw closer. Fellowship. Fellowship with friends. If you can, you may not have these fellowships, but don't isolate yourself so much. You know, Philomena, the more time you isolate yourself, the devil takes advantage. But even situations come to you so much. Meet with friends, family, you know, family. Speak to people. Share with responsible people. Share. Because you may think you're alone, but you're not alone in this. Share. Spiritual nourishment, there is a way psychologically it helps you to go through such situations.
Well, Felix, we know that in these times it's very tricky for the people who are probably asking for salary enhancements in the world of corporate or the corporate world in this instance. And I will tell you that it's not that even companies are really exactly doing well financially, so it would be hard for you to get a salary increment. Now, in instances like that again, what do you do? What would you advise? Or even then, what do you think could be the causes? Yes, we do understand that generally the economy is not doing well, but do you believe there are certain things that we are doing that are making the situation worse? Probably it's really getting out of hand. Aside from the bigger issue, do you believe there are also small things that we are doing as individuals that we are self-sabotaging in an already bad economy?
Well, there are a couple of things that do contribute to where we are right now, Philomena, and not in isolation of the general contributor being our governing system. Robert did give a clear-parted preamble of the genesis of where we are. Probably what he forgot to add, or what he skipped, is the fact that the aftermath of the COVID-19, there came the Ukraine and Russian debacle, which still looms all over our heads. And even up till today, there are no signs of finding solution to that. Many people have been asking what's the relationship between what we are and what is happening millions of miles away from where we are. But I'll say this in a generic connote, that the Ukraine and Russian war actually is worse than COVID. And the reasoning is preambled in the you know when as Luganda saying that when two elephants fight, yeah, you may want to agree or not agree, but Russia is an elephant, so is Ukraine in the world economy, in terms of what they supply and what they consume from the entire world.
Yes.
Now, our being as a third world country entirely depends on what people consume from us and what people give us, whether as donations or revenue, in whichever discipline. You may challenge that at your own peril. Coming back to the sanctionality of where we are, you will realize, Philomena, that one of the reasons why we are struggling so much as Ugandans is because we have not been here before. Everything is anew to the domain of our knowledge. We are simply tiptoeing on economic eggshells that we either are learning the hard way. And he brought it out well when he gave you some of the examples of what challenges we are looking at. There's something called adjustment. Now, this is not, he talked about it in terms of family, but this should start with the national level. The government has tried. You have seen they have pulled back international travels, they have pulled back, they have cut many budgets of...
They're really doing their part as well.
That is indicative of the reality. In fact, if you see government doing that, you should run past government.
Yes.
You should run past government. The biggest challenge we face as Ugandans, I'll focus on Ugandans this time, not Africans, is we have continuously become slaves of societies. In terms of everything we do, we have given so much power to society, and that's where we always make mistakes. You talked about something to do with living beyond our means. Trust me, it is not our own. It's not about us.
Yes.
It's about the fear for perception from the outside of us. Trust me. Today, Philomena, when you're walking on the streets of Kampala, your biggest worry is not that you're going to get tired. It's bananda babati. Surprisingly. That's the fear. The fear is not about, I'm going to get tired, it's a long... No. That's why you see some of our colleagues, they never move during day. People will never see during day. They move at 6 and move at 9.
When they have a choice of actually moving during the course of the day.
For us, we call some of them night riders. Now, that's the irony of some of the things you're talking about. One of the things I've realized continuously, some of our economic challenges, we are contributors. For example, you come to some of my colleagues in the legal fraternity, and we tell them every day, you cannot talk about image minus income. One comes before the other. What are you protecting, you poor lawyer?
We call them young lawyers.
Image. Which image? Who gave you? Where did you get the image?
Must have a Mercedes
You are poor. That means you don't have an image. Where do you get an image, a poor person?
Felix, you're killing the young lawyers.
Let them die. They will resurrect when they will get money. But let me tell you, what are you, and this is not, let's not do it from the lawyers. Let's go to all other professions.
Everywhere, actually, yes.
You are saying you're protecting your image.
What?
You don't have a job? What image do you have? Like someone, I said something when I was talking to a student, and the student was like, "You've defamed me." I'm like, "Silly, you're not defamable. What? You don't have a status." It's the same thing, and that's what these are things that disturb us, the youth majorly. You find a young man, at the very first opportune moment, there's something nowadays called apartments. This is just about, again, brings you back to that thing. What will they think about me? But when you're hungry at night, no one is thinking.
But you see, when the people that you're worried are thinking
Sometimes they're not
about
even-
you, they
they're
are
not
going
calling
through
out,
the
"Oh."
same struggle, probably
Philomena,
even a worse
they're not even
struggle.
noticing you.
They actually don't have the time and the
Like,
energy to
this
really
came
focus
real
on
to some
you.
of us. Like, I remember my late grandfather told me when I first bought a car. Well, you know, he was a very calm guy. Like, "Hey, but now won't so when we came back home, he was like, "Hey, but now where about the color? Again, I able to keep Jivuga. Manyanti, Sigua sauce. This Sigua saying Bivuga Mutu." Then he was telling me about, he told me in 70 what? I think it was 60 something. I had an Angaria, I had a Nissan called what? Nissan something. Raula, Smile Raula, Nissan Raula. I had, then your grandmother had it. So he was trying to let me know that there's nothing new you're doing.
Yeah.
Calm down, that's what Robert was saying. Situations like this we can only penetrate them with a sober, calm mind. I have seen people struggling, and he talked about something to do with celebrations. And this goes to our dear lovely wives, fiancés, partners, cohabitants, roommates, depending.
Well, the
with any one
cohabitants,
statement you
debatable.
give me.
Also depending on what will come out of
Parliament will soon give us direction.
Truly, if you want my humble comment about that, I am happy about it.
I think I am very happy
you
about it.
young men out there were playing with
Young
people.
men and women.
You need to know it's not an easy thing.
Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is that you need to take. You see, when situations like, I don't know say this in English, enyanja bwetabuka, you need to calm down. Have you seen someone drowning? Have you ever drowned?
I have drowned.
Do you know what makes you drown?
Yes.
Fighting.
Is trying to that you just skip on
and you float.
Like they just, you need to keep sober and close out the noise in these times. Close out the noise. There's too much noise. Like when you have children, you can't simply continue taking kids where you can't afford, because you're thinking, how will people see? But close out all that noise. Sit in your small corner, assess your ability, and then find a way forward. That's the only way we can do. If you cannot afford to drive, there's nothing wrong with a taxi. Even if you used to drive let me tell you, you struggle alone. That thing our parents used to tell us, I remember in school, many times they used to tell us, wajaweka. They see you turn so kubula. You're starting to get lost with these rich people. And some of us, it was even worse. Because many times our parents used to be at school asking for school fees. But then because when they took, now the teacher will tell you, Mama, see how I over one. Now, that alone would put you in order. We used to have a deputy called Ramshija in Lubiri. Now she's actually, I know she's still a member of parliament for workers. I saw her in parliament. Surprisingly, most of my teachers now are in parliament. But that woman, she would make parents suffer. And I think it was intentional for them to either work, I don't know. But every time my mom would come from Ramshija's office, she would have tears. I don't know whatever they used to tell her. Now, she would turn those tears in anger against you.
Yes.
So you knew that anything wrong, you would be very careful. I told you one time, for us we used to go to Owino. That side, right? This is called it, this is called, they used Muruja or some, that's the old Owino, where they used to, so those actual women who used to do, it's called what?
Backyard.
No, see backyard. Yeah, of course, I think the whole thing is, but now, they used to do groundnuts like this. You know, I don't know what they call it. Winnowing.
Yes.
Now, of course, pieces would fall and fall and fall. Now, we used to go and collect, because when you get a kilo, you walk and go the other side, like as you go to Karitunsi, there are some people who would buy. Like it, and they would buy a kilo. Now, whenever we used to go for those were like our personal gigs, but you would be so scared because they used to beat thieves then and burn them and what. Now we used to walk there, you're picking, but you have to put your hands in your inside your panties so that no one says onanzibye. Because mistakenly and they say, you know that thing.
Yes.
Now, because of the fear of how bad things are. But today people don't fear. He talked about loans. Someone goes and they're just not conscious about what? The repercussions. You can only take a loan when you have a source of income.
When it's assured, when
you know there's somewhere you're going to get.
Yes,
yeah, you have
the
some
money.
sort of
Yes.
plan. But Philomena also, something called economic union. Husbands, in whichever degree, we don't focus on husbands, but partners.
Yes.
You need to sit together and have a financial plan. These are not times for ego. In Uganda we call it kasajja fuba. It's not about kasajja fuba. No. These are times where you need to sit down as a family and agree according to your economic ability. Otherwise, you're going to burn out. Sanja. You know Sanja, Philomena?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure he knows. Now, that one, you put light on it. Not by the second dips, it has burned so hard.
Yes.
But it has, in a second. So, sit together as partners, agree. We earn this, we earn this, we earn this. What can we do? Robert talked about hair, but I know he didn't say that in bad faith.
Yes. No, but I understand. Also, if it's really going to help someone or cut on the budget, I mean, why not do it at this
because
point?
A woman on average on a month can spend on hair about 150,000. I think that's fairly. For some of us, how they used to, I don't know.
How they ask it.
But about 150.
No, that's confirmed.
How long ago was that?
Well,
yes, now the products have gone higher, so the prices, everybody is really squeezing you from wherever.
So you think we don't raise
don't just
No, but Philomena, lastly, let me say this. Like, honestly, like you sit down, you agree. Let's buy this, let's buy this. If you've been buying a lot of frying things, you said to Kendeze Kobuto. Because even it's not healthy, you know. You can say, we can reduce on the meals. We can't be eating breakfast, mid-breakfast, lunch, mid-lunch, supper, then half supper when I think, no, can we stay with, because there are people who are just, their lives about eating. They wake up eating, they want to walk eating, like, we're not going to be about...
As if you're feeding broilers at home.
Exactly.
Fatten them.
So, all these things, I think, for us to manage these times, and I can tell you, what we are seeing today, I'm sorry to say this, I don't mean even, I pray it doesn't even happen, but this is just the beginning. Philomena, people are struggling economically. These shootings you see,
yes,
they are not, these are not nightmares. These people are not mad, but they're economically mad. And now you think it's about guards? You're going to see big people jumping off skyscrapers. These lone things you see, people who don't have guns to gun shoot the lenders, they are going to just kill themselves. Do you know how many people lost property in the aftermath of COVID?
We saw stories how banks were actually taking people's
but money lenders.
Yes.
Properties.
Felix,
people have
when you
been
go
thrown
to
out of
hospitals
houses.
today, the problem is we do not do research as Africans, most of third world countries. When you go to hospital today, people who are dying, hypertension, those diseases that where high levels of stress and economic challenges act as a catalyst, they're increasing.
But also, Robert, let me say this, Philomena, if you give me a minute. But also our dear lovely wives, spouses, partners, in whatever category, cohabitants, roommates, etc. Please don't leave us in times like this.
There needs to be a clear understanding of what is actually happening. Yes.
Yeah. Please don't leave your husbands if things have changed. Many people lost jobs. But also, husbands, be humble. You are poor, you don't have money, you have a big head, you want to order people around when you have nothing. Like, also make it easier for these darlings. Because if a woman leaves you in times like this, Philomena, on top of your big head and poverty, imagine you ozuka koza ngoye, koza butasa, ugabunyo, simayo butungulu. Like, because that is stress upon stress squared.
But Felix, just to interject briefly, and I love that point because most of the husbands or partners or what, when they are financially unstable or stressed, many of them transport the anger to family.
And the frustration.
Remember the COVID times, we had many cases of domestic violence. Why did we have cases of domestic violence? Because the men could not fend for their families, they were frustrated, then they transported the anger. But women also be supportive at such a time. You know, there was a case I was handling at church. One of our pastors, there was this married couple and St. H. I know you've heard of it. So this woman would make savings and had like a box where he would put the money, where she would put the money. A box. So COVID, the man has no job, asks the wife for help. The woman is silent with what she has. I think the man was moving around the house. I don't know what prompted him to check under the bed. He noticed there was money. So he began using the money to feed the family. And the wife would always say, we are grateful. My husband is not working. We are eating better than we used even to feed before. We are eating meat. We are eating chicken. At the end of the day, she went and checked, and the thing had been broken. So she said, we are only two that access the bedroom. So how come? The husband said, but look, I was constrained. There was money in the house. So that has been taking us.
So why are you keeping that money?
Yes,
what you could actually be doing something.
Children are going back to school. You have money on you. You know,
honestly, Robert,
and you're holding to it. This man is left to suffer.
In times like this, everything that needs to be done should be done. Honestly, women need to support husbands. But again, for me, as I've said, I want to add on that thing. Husbands, put yourselves in a position where you're supportable, if I put it that way. Sometimes you make it hard, like you put a big wall. As I've told you,
the lion of the home.
You are broke. You know, being broke can be seasonal. It's a today, tomorrow you'll be fine. But be humble. you can't be there.
Anyway,
you know, but also let me say this: the women don't make men do house chores because of this economic times. If I found a man, yes, who like in as much as it's okay.
I think you can just really come out offer to help.
But Philomena, that help also.
You can really
Philomena, as Philomena goes to work, you're going.
If you can't even afford, for
but
example,
if Philomena is going to fetch bread,
yes,
you're home.
Yes,
She comes
and you
back
really cannot afford to have a house
Such
help.
a time,
Yes,
find how.
because even house helps right now, they would want a bit of. They want some more money because
even
they also have families
housemates
that
are rare
supporting.
with this
They have
going to Saudi Arabia.
And Philomena
Those-
man, that is also
Yeah.
another problem. And
Well,
Philomena
used to-
comes home and asks, Chitabo? Yes, mommy.
Anyway, there is
Where's my
feedback
food?
coming in from a number of viewers here. And it's very interesting because Derek here says, good morning, family. I think for starters, we must prioritize our needs and leave the wants. Now, this is a big challenge to most of us, and that's why we are still struggling financially. We deliberately choose to live a very luxurious life, which keeps us backwards. Now, once one sits down and knows their income and expenditure, they will give priorities to their basics, do some saving that is relevant. But one can spend extravagantly since they know they earn every week or any month or any specified period of time. So in other words, we lack financial discipline as Ugandans. Thank you so much, Derek. There is a viewer who says we just need to reduce on the visiting friends because they are becoming very
People still
problematic. Now, Patrick here is sharing his experience, and he says, I was forced of recent to borrow an online loan from Fair Credit people, but the calls I received to remind me of my loan after a week that had multiplied to more than 100%. Indeed, let's avoid loans. It's a very bad idea, at least in this given time. And having also Mbere Huntington from Entebbe saying the problem of economic imbalance also comes about imbalance between those who get very much and those who get very little, all buying at the same cost. Because how will you save if a teacher or a cleaner or any other ordinary person at that is buying a kilogram of sugar at 6,000? Felix would tell you leave that sugar. I know that is what Felix would say.
Go for
For healthy reasons, well, you think honey is cheap? Honey
Put
is
a
not
drop,
cheap.
at least there is a test.
Secondly, you know what we used to do at home? In fact, that's why I love my grandparents, and I love them with all my heart. I'll chai sukari tumufumbira muchai.
You don't bring a sugar bowl, auntie.
Kwate ebijiko byammwe 10 bitokotera mu mazzi n'amajani. You don't waste this, honestly. and it works.
What?
Instead of giving two spoons to every person,
some will take
that's the
3,
thing.
4.
Why, Patrick? I mean, when one viewer said, please avoid guests and all of that, that is what they're actually trying to avoid.
I'm struggling alone. Why are you visiting?
And
Why are you visiting people?
And some people are really not very honest. Someone comes to visit you with 5 children. They say, you think they are going today, tomorrow they are around. The other day, Tabuchima, then a week and you have to prove you are a family responsible man. If you've not been eating meat, you buy meat, then milk, big bread size.
Meat.
You don't usually.
If you treat guests well, they will not go. Just give them water in the morning, then water, evening water. You won't, or full make saying they have already left.
No, but at this point, all we are asking, I think it's very important
just
to be a bit
water,
thoughtful.
as long as they're not dehydrated. Just make sure they're not dehydrated to die in your
People
premise.
just need to be very thoughtful and understand that there are certain things you just can't afford to do right now. You need to really put yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
it's out of courtesy. Understand that everybody's struggling financially. You will find somebody who is asking you for a loan, okay, or maybe some money, and they want to pay you back probably when they get their salaries. So why are you choosing to go and visit this person who has just asked a loan from you? You need to be a little bit more thoughtful and be considerate. See what is happening. No wonder people are going to keep lying to others. We are not
also,
home.
Philomena, as we say this,
Yes.
people who are enjoying life.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all can't be in the same category.
I have seen some of the newest brands of cars on the road, and I've seen new government cars. Very, very posh for every.
Quite a number.
And I'm thinking, are these guys, are we together? or we are apart. Because
But in any economy, Felix, amongst the three of us, we know there will always be the people who have it, and there are those that really don't have enough, and there are those who are basically surviving. They don't even know how things are really working out for them, but they're surviving.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow they're
floating.
alive, and they are affording a few things here and there. We all really cannot be equal. Even the fingers really are
don't
not
have to
equal at
anyway.
this point.
No,
Yeah,
we
so
don't have to.
you just need to understand where exactly you belong. Are you struggling? 0%. What are you going to do about that? Are you surviving? Also, what are you going to do? And even those who are really flourishing at this point, I don't
There
think
is a
they
way
have-
they turn. If someone has been going to Dubai for holidays, they may go to Mueya. And when you find them there, you think, wow.
Apparently Mueya is more expensive than
But they have also found a way of turning down. But I want to appeal also to government, Philo, finally. The education system. Every time children are going back to school, we've seen circulars from the Ministry of Education, the PS writes, please don't do this, don't do that. But there is so much exploitation. We would say cut a cloth according to, cut a coat according to a piece of cloth, but the government must intervene. There is so much exploitation. For how long have children been home? But they're going back. And then some are going to have a policy of zero balance.
Of course, there are schools.
Yes,
you don't
zero
have
balance.
a fully paid
The
bank
child
slip. The child does not enter the school premises.
So I
you
think
cannot.
there is so much in liberalization.
most
but
of them.
Yeah,
there's
most of
so
them.
much.
There
that
are scaries at the gate. There are very many schools we know. That is
the
the only
directors or the
requirement for
headmasters
you
are
to
not there
enter.
on day one.
Yes.
So I think ministry and government, please come to the rescue. The levels of dropout are increasing. And it seems now one of the businesses where you make quick money is a school. Get your 2 rooms, then get students, then go get a loan and all that. Please come to the rescue. You still have the responsibility of education in this country. Despite having private schools with us, there must be regulation. Either it's conflict of interest, but there must be something to be done.
Well, finally, one comment here from Philo from Lira saying the norm these days is borrow from Peter to pay Paul. you understand how that works? Yes.
That killed Wabwire. He borrowed from here, had a loan there, and when he came back here, they said no, clear there. He said, Kwasha.
It couldn't just be.
He had 2 loans running, you borrow here.
Well, clearly the times are not easy, and there is need for us to be financially disciplined, at least until things are slightly better. Now, nobody knows when that will happen, but in the meantime, do what you have to do. Live in your means, try to slash those budgets, especially when it comes to the needs and wants. At this point, I want to believe as a human being, as a person, you know what you need and what you want. Which one comes first on the list? For you, if it's the want that comes before the need, you're going to sacrifice the need. For you, if it's a need that comes before the want, you know what to do. So we are all really trying so much to make sure that we survive, so that the economy does not swallow us. We want to get rid of the economy gotojidaba kind of slogan. We need to get rid of it. And also, let's be kind, empathetic, and very considerate. Everybody really is going through quite a whole kind of a situation. At the end of the day, we want to see, we don't want to see people killing each other because of money-related issues, frustrations, and stress. We also don't want to see people committing suicide. That is not the kind of population we want and for the country in general. We will go for a break. When we get back here, we'll be having some entertainment for you on Good Morning Uganda and a couple of other interesting interviews, and Molin will be here to give you the weather report as well. Good morning.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidala irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti
tompa bidala mpa irisiti yange. That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
This is Chilling. Don't miss a brand new season of Chilling on UBC TV.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the
live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Well, it is a special Friday, and of course we give you a different brand of a lot of things happening right here And of course, right now we want to take you through the weather updates. We'll be tapping in from the satellites and looking at what we have over the country right now. Well, we did start off with mostly sunny weather for much of northern Uganda, and that is actually a similar case for eastern Uganda as well. Mostly sunny skies, and that is of course coming in with hot conditions as well. Same conditions for the northwestern part of the country, that is across Arua and areas of Yumbe, all that area, Gulu, Padel, Apache. We're looking at quite a sunny one for you this morning. Now, across the midwestern part of the country, where we have Masindi, Hoima, we're starting to see intervals of cloudy conditions, but we did start off earlier with cloudy conditions and a mix of sunshine as well. And across parts of the Rwenzori area, that is across areas of Kasese, Bwera, we're looking at also a mix of clouds and sunshine. Same conditions are long, that is Fort Poto and Tungamo. We're still looking at that, and most likely it will continue for much of today morning. Now, much sunshine again starting off for southwestern Uganda. The Kabale Highlands, we're looking at mostly areas of Kisoro. Kabale, we're starting off with mostly sunny weather. That is extending towards Mbarara. Boshenyi, we're also starting off with mostly clear skies with sunny conditions, and of course also looking at a few of the clouds that are starting to develop for the western parts of Lake Victoria Basin. That is where we have Masaka, Rengo. We're looking at Kalisizo, Zimbabwe. Those are the areas that are already experiencing mostly cloudy conditions, and that is where we expect to have a little bit of rains coming through for much of today morning. And of course, the gray colors right there on the map indicating sunny skies, where we are seeing the white colors, that is an indication of mostly cloudy weather over there. Well, also the bigger picture, we're looking at some of the models in the forecast for what is likely to happen for much of today in terms of wet weather activities. We expect more developments that will be across the Western Strait, that is all the way from the northwestern part of the country towards the midwestern as well as southwestern Uganda. Much more of the rains expected for the Rwenzori area, that is indicated by the blue colors right there on the map. And of course also taking in parts of central as well as the Lake Victoria Basin, but the light blue colors are just indicating a possibility of a few rains, so meaning that that will be over a few places, and of course not in bigger quantities. Still dry weather forecast for the Karamoja region, where we're seeing the open white colors, meaning that for that we'll be having mostly sunny conditions for today. But then again, as we head into Saturday, we start to see that is more pickup in terms of wet weather activities for the central northern part. We're looking at areas of Gulu, most likely will pick up in terms of wet weather activities over there. And we'll also be looking at more rains coming in for the Kabale Highlands and extending up to southwestern Uganda, and also looking at again a continuation of sunny conditions for the Karamoja region, that is indicated by the open white colors right there on the map. And of course that is mostly Saturday, but also looking at the Lake Victoria Basin, parts of Kampala, Mukono, Wakiso, Entebbe, we're looking at reduced wet weather activities indicated by the light blue colors, meaning that we'll still have a few rains, but also that will be in smaller quantities. And heading on to Sunday, this is when we're looking at more dry weather setting in now, and of course also a reduction in wet weather activities for the areas that will be continuing with the rains through, that is Friday and Saturday. So that means you have more dry weather for the northern sector. That also takes in areas around Lake Choga, that is Lira as well, for Arua, again going into Kitugum, Padel, Gulu, and the Karamoja region will still be continuing with much of those dry weather conditions, mostly sunny, and temperatures will be equally warm over there. Also quite a reduction for eastern Uganda as well. Just a bit of rains that are expected for the Elgon region, but also that will be in smaller quantities. You also look at midwestern Uganda, Hoima, Masindi, that area is expected to have a little bit of rains, but also those will be in smaller quantities. Again, for southwestern Uganda, possibility of light showers. Also, that might be actually over a few places. And then we also have reduced wet weather activities for the Lake Victoria Basin, the eastern side, the western side, as well as the eastern side. So that means Tororo, Jinja, Kamuli, looking at also the central area for Kampala, Wakiso, Mukono. We're going to have reduction. Mostly sunny weather is expected for Sunday, and that takes in the western side as well. That is across Masaka. You look at Gomba, Ruero, Sembabule, all that area. We do expect that we might be having mostly sunny conditions for that is Sunday, and also that will be extending up to western Uganda, so meaning that areas of Mbarara, Boshenyi, we could also be looking at mostly a sunny day for you over there. And of course, looking at what we have been experiencing also as we move into the end of May, most of it has been really a reduction in wet weather activities for much of the northern part of the country as well as the eastern area. We have had a pickup in wet weather activities for parts of central as well as the Lake Victoria Basin, but we do expect that we might continue with that. That is especially for the southern sector of the country, but otherwise the northern region we're likely to be having mostly that is a continuation in dry weather conditions, as well as looking at a pickup in wet weather activities for most of these areas, especially in the central region. But also if you look at that is a projection that was made from the EPAC about what is expected for as we end May. We're looking at much of it, again, a pickup over the Elgon region, and of course still expected to continue with wet weather activities over the northern sector. So for the that means that for the March to May first major rainy season for Uganda, as we end it for much of the country, especially looking at the southern sector, we're now in a reducing stage, but we'll have to be continuing with wet weather activities, especially for the northern sector. So that is one area to also look out for. And then again, you look at eastern Uganda, there's likely to pick up in terms of wet weather activities. Well, that does it for now. We'll be having more coming your way. We have entertainment in the house. We'll take a short break right after this. We'll be getting into that. And then later on, we'll also be getting into an interview with one of the biggest authors we have right now and one of the trendiest books, and that you don't want to miss. We take a break. We'll be back.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Gatawo with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidala irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti
tompa bidala mpa irisiti yange. That's right, insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Hallelujah Jingati drink and Hallelujah Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Hallelujah Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Hallelujah from all shops around.
First of all, the parish development model is the last mile strategy for assuring services reach the people. And this one is geared towards elimination of poverty and assuring most of the Ugandans at least jump to the middle income status.
And the parish development model is the whole of government being at the parish. Every sector that is involved in service delivery is going to congregate at the parish. Planning, implementation, and budgeting is going to be done at the parish. Instead of government being at 30,000 feet up and sending down interventions, we have now brought government to 3 feet closer to the people.
And make a more comprehensive system. So what I see is an improved society of Ugandans 10 years to come.